to a hatch, a door, and had closed it, and that was the thumping sound he heard. He just figured, I have to go investigate this.
Zamora moves towards the craft. He's now only 20 meters away, and he still can't figure out what he's looking at.
Zamora was uncertain about what he was seeing, but he was a police officer, and so he kept approaching the object. He sees a symbol on the craft, sort of a umbrella-shaped or an arch with an arrow underneath it and a line beneath it in red.
This is like no sign he's ever seen from White Sands or anywhere else.
It didn't say U.S. Air Force. It didn't say NASA or U.S. Army or it didn't say anything like that. To my knowledge, it doesn't resemble any known alphabet, hieroglyphics, or anything like that. That he sees a flame coming out of the bottom, a bluish glow from the bottom. He's freaked out. He doesn't know whether it's going to explode. He doesn't know what it's going to do. He turned around and ran, and I can't blame him. He dropped his glasses and therefore couldn't see as well naturally as the object was beginning to go away. Skeptics have used this point to say that, well, you know, it possibly was a test vehicle because he couldn't really see how it was going away. His vision was good enough to see generally that the object was traveling low across country. The roaring sound stopping is critical because if it's a terrestrial vehicle, to stay up in Earth's atmosphere, it has to keep roaring. Jet engines, rockets, planes, everything keeps the engine running as it goes across country. This object didn't do that.
It had legs. It was like struts coming down, and this is where one of them was, and another one's over there.
You know, there were 4 marks on the ground, and he said there were landing pads, and yes, there's 4 marks that could have been landing pads, and they're in deep enough that it would have taken an object of some size to do that.
See this thing?
The men find a slab of what looks like fused sand. Sand that's been heated at such a high temperature that it's become like glass.
Zamora, what's that?
They also find footprints.
These footprints had an odd geometrical pattern and were smaller than a normal footprint would be.
There were people here, except they weren't people. I don't know what they were. I couldn't see their faces at all.
Socorro is a case that is so unique that it almost deserves its own classification. It is a case where a creature was sighted by a very reputable witness who was in the daylight, very near the object, whether these 2 humanoids were standing next to. And so it's very hard to deny. In fact, even skeptics will not deny that Officer Zamora saw something and that what he saw was probably what he said he saw.
The incident is extensively investigated by the state police, the Air Force, and dozens of journalists. Gas station owner Opal Grinder reports that a customer buying gas near the sighting complained of a low-flying object almost hitting his car. The Air Force announces that no aircrafts from White Sands Missile Range were involved. An engineer from Northwestern University analyzes the landing marks and determines that they are consistent with a craft of the weight and shape that Lonnie Zamora described. All other investigations by